Well, welcome back, everybody. I made it into the final
One
hour
thing
of the
about
show
living in
before my
Kern County-
computer froze. So here we are.
You don't need it anymore.
That's right.
You're on
We're
autopilot.
into the final hour of the Coaches Super Show. We had 4 coaches left. Just 2 of them are going to be in studio with us. The first one is Brett Shelton of Stockdale. Brett, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Busy?
Always.
Just a little bit?
Always.
Battling
Brett's
the
not
heat?
busy if he's not sweating, so he's not busy right now.
You guys are cranking up the AC. I'm good.
Yeah. It's good to be here, and it's good to see you. And I think it's probably good for you to have a guy named Elisha Ortiz back.
Oh, man.
Pretty good place to start. He's one of the stars of the Southwest Yosemite League.
Yeah, Elisha, that's just a coach's dream. I mean, we got this talent that was given to us by him, and we can talk about his talent all day, which I will. I mean, his first step is incredible when it comes to as a running back. He might even be a better DB. He's just instinct-wise is unbelievable, but his character development, because we had him as a sophomore on varsity, his character development, he really does drive this team.
Brett,
Go ahead.
yesterday we kind of had the argument between what's more important, year 2 of a program for a head coach or year 3. I'm a year 3 guy, and that's where you're at right now. Do you feel like this is that big year for you guys, that maybe that Stockdale football has really kind of turned into Brett Shelton football again?
Well, when it comes to that, this group of kids, I've been around 3 years. They know the culture from the coaches, and they understand the whole team atmosphere, the brotherhood of it, which we've been trying to beat in their head, and they're believing in exactly that. So as long as that product is on the field, the coaches are going to be pretty happy, and we are pretty happy with how they treat each other as a unit, not as individuals.
Right.
You guys are, in your first 2 years, you've had some significant victories. You have not, I guess, gotten over the hump to doing that consistently. Is that sort of the next step in your mind, is to be able to do it more or less week in and week out?
Yeah, the first step is make sure they're fighting, and we've had a program that fights. We've been in a lot of close battles. This year, it's all about finishing, and there are times as in a competition where we get too far ahead of ourselves and we start thinking about the product. We got to make sure we live in the moment. It's all about the process, in the now. Focus on your alignment, assignment, and execution. If that's all you're focusing on, that product will come. So,
good coaches, man. Good coaches. It's all about the process. So we've heard that again and again and again. And it's, you know what? It's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a good reason. It's, it's because it works. Speaking of living in the moment, you got some bags under your eyes. You got a 3-month-old baby at home, so that's part of your life too right now.
Colton David, 3 months old.
That's
he's
very
amazing.
awesome. Yeah,
He's already setting a pass block right now. So he's in the crib just making sure he gets hands under pads, huh?
He is a big old boy. My coaches and I say he might be an O-lineman. He's a big boy.
All right. I like that. Of course, when you have a baby, blowout means something totally different than it does in football. So that's a whole other part of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Only Zach could bring that into this.
You know what? I've been raising babies for like 5 years. That's all I think
Yeah,
about
you
anymore.
guys don't stop.
High school football and babies. Let's see what else we have. I know, really, for you, one strength is the line, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and that's also a luxury. We talk about Elisha and how good he is with the skill, but if he doesn't have the guys blocking in front and playing D, it doesn't matter.
I'll name all of my linemen. Gio Ramirez, he's a 3-year returner and starter. Mature-wise, he has become an adult already. He's silenced his voice a little bit, and now he's just a go-getter. So at 3 years, we have high expectations, and right now he's battling every day, and it's not easy out there. As you can see, everybody's suffering in the same weather. Spencer Neblis, he's an incredible effort kind of guy. He's just always going. He got banged up last year, and he learned that lesson that you can't take this game for granted, and he is actually taking that lesson. He's doing well.
Well, I'll tell you this about Spencer. I covered a lot of Stockdale softball last year, and every time that dude showed up, he was walking right from the weight room. So he was doing a lot of work for you this spring.
Yeah, and he's out there running sprints early morning when we didn't even have weights. He'll do the extra mile. Center-wise, Anthony Saltero. He came back. He was our guard last year. He came back and accepted his leadership role as a center. So did
we talk about Stretch yet?
Stretch with Jacob Whitby. Stretch. Love the kid, man. He's got the best smile on the team. He's always smiling. Sometimes we got to get him angry to get him going, but we just got to get him in that zone. And he's got to understand as a player, you got to get in that zone and flip the switch on yourself. And you can't rely on your teammates or your players to get you there. So stretch is coming along.
If you're a White Sox fan, you know the home run call. Stretch, it will.
But here's the thing, Brett, you're looking at an O-line that's averaging about 240 across the board. You're looking at an O-line that you know you have a lot of experience on, and I think anybody will tell you, even your old buddy Coach O will tell you LWG linemen win games. How much does that excite you to know that, you know, even though you're bringing in a new quarterback, a guy that was your JV quarterback last year, with Elijah there, with Jalen Smith kind of playing that slot for you. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do behind an experienced O-line like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just rule-wise, you can get a little bit fun with it. But, you know, obviously we're keeping it simple right now. But these guys, they've been in together for a couple of years now. In the weight room, they drive each other, and out in the field, they push each other. They know when their coaches are unhappy or when things are going south, and they'll start calling each other out in a positive way. But that's the biggest thing with O-line. Yeah, we got some size, which I think we all have size in SWIL, but their ability to coach each other right now, it's a whole lot easier for us right now as coaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Anthony Onceris gone, great 2-year quarterback for you. You thought Sean Mullen was going to be your quarterback. Obviously, he's got greener pastures on baseball diamond, which you can't fault the kid for it. But now you've got Julian Herrera coming in. Talk to us about Julian, what he's going to bring for you at the table.
Unfortunately, Julian, he hurt his shoulder last spring at a camp.
Oh, my bad.
He had to have labrum surgery.
Jacob Ruley is the guy.
Jacob
right?
Ruley.
Jacob Ruley, I'm sorry.
I'm literally looking at something Trevor wrote about Jacob Ruley as he's talking about some other.
You do realize when I wrote that, guys, I apologize, but that was pre-Maui and pre-marriage, my bad.
Do we have a count, John, of how many times he's brought up Maui in this 6 hours? Yeah, that's at least 27. Anyway.
So, Jacob I'm sorry. I apologize, bro.
What was the process there, Brett? Because, seriously, you think you may have Sean there. He goes, it's baseball all the way for him. He's going to UCLA for baseball if he's not going pro. Then you think you have Herrera. He gets hurt. Now you're Ruley. I mean, I don't want to make him sound like he's the third choice, but you did have that transition where you sort of didn't know what you would have until late in the game.
On Jacob Ruley's part, by the way, he's a phenomenal DB and he's a great slot receiver. And we always know he knew he could throw. When Mullen actually got hurt in his freshman year, Jacob stepped up, and then he was the JV quarterback last year. So we've always had our eye on Jacob as possible package-wise of developing a package for him. And then obviously Julian and Jacob would be battling for that spot. Right now, Jacob has taken the spot, and he has owned that spot. He, because you didn't know if there's going to be some resistance because he is a DB by nature.
Right.
And Jacob, this is a conversation, Jacob, we're going to need you. And without hesitation, he took that spot. He's a highly intelligent football player. He asked the right questions. I think being a DB, him understanding coverages already as a DB, he can be able to dissect and understand his reads a whole lot faster. And plus, he's extremely mobile. So it's fun. It's great that he's got a great little voice on him. I didn't know that about him. So you got
the leadership part.
Yeah, he's got the leadership part, and that O-line who's already banded together are really liking his leadership and him. And he says the right things, and just got to make sure he continues to focus on the process.
How does he spin the ball? I mean, you mentioned everything else about him, but obviously when you're bringing in a guy from DB, you got to be able to throw the ball.
He can throw it. It surprised me a couple times when we were just at Hume with our boys. Whatever, we took him to Hume and he threw a couple, and it was just an eye opener of. Man, this guy can get after it, and he can. He's been whipping it around at practice. He's just gaining more and more confidence in his arm and his reads. And at first, he's a little hesitant. Right now, he's got full confidence in that touch.
And I'll tell you what, there's plenty of examples around town of DBs who have been really good at quarterback. Kamari Cotton-Moya, Sonny Rufus, Lawrence White. I mean, it's not like you can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So he may be next in line there. Before we let you go, Brett, let's talk about your schedule a little bit. You open up with, piece of cake the first week. You're only at Ridgeview. And then Atascadero later, Clovis, defending runner-up in D1.
Cupcake week 1. Buddy.
Yeah, you play the D1 champ, the D2 champ, the D1 runner-up. And also a Tascadero, a good team out of the southern section in this schedule. So you're not shying away from anybody.
No, we always want to have Ridgeview on our schedule because they give us a really good look, especially leading into SWIL. They're going to be fast. They're going to have big guys. So having them first week or 0 week, whatever you want to call it, is going to help us out as coaches and players of actually gauging where we're at and what we need to work on, and scheme-wise, how do we attack now. And then obviously at Tascadero, those are just some big old strong boys. So that's going to be, what are we grinders? Can we grind it out like a Frontier in the future, or how do we have to attack? So it allows us as coaches and players to reevaluate where we're at as a team.
Well, and it's not only that. I mean, you guys had that school-imposed sanction that if you're not 500 in overall or in league, you don't go to the postseason. So, I mean, you testing your boys like that means that you're testing them for the long haul.
Well, in some cases, you see coaches schedule light when they've got a rule like that to make sure you get the 5 wins, but that is not the case, obviously.
No, we want the best for our guys, and our goal is, we have further goals along, but once again, we got to make sure we take care of the now, but we're only going to try and make them better and put them in a better spot for the future. So we have future plans, absolutely, but we want to take care of what we got now.
Last question for you. You talk about finishing, and you've been close and you've been competitive. How much of an emphasis is that, just say in conditioning and drills, and, hey, I know you're tired, I know it's hot, this is the last one, but there's a minute left in the fourth quarter, you better make the play.
In everything we do, it's finishing, and if it's conditioning or if it's plays, we don't give them the idea when the end is.
Okay.
And I know they usually have that fourth quarter, but we've been in OT, so they have no idea when the end is. So if we're doing our gassers, they don't know how many we're doing today. If we're doing, defensive segment, offensive segment, they don't know the times. We don't have a clock. It's on a whistle. So obviously I'm in control of that. So it is finish, 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 and they never know when the last rep is. And if that last rep you did not finish, that's how the game ended. So for them, they're on edge all the time. You never know when the last one is your last rep. So it's finish all the time, especially weight room. I mean, I tell them now, I'm not going to count reps. If you're counting reps, just see yourself at the door, because that's not our guys. Our guys are guys that are going to say, that's the board, that's the workout, that's what we're going to get done.
I love it. And
why don't we have Brett in more often?
Well, let's do it, because he's busy. He's a busy man. Yeah. He's got little Connor David around. Colton David. I'm sorry, Colton David. And he'll be crawling by the end of the year, and maybe he'll be playing playoff football and all that sort of stuff. So, Brett, thanks for joining us. Stockdale High School head coach Brett Shelton. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be right back on BVarsity Life. The legend, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Denman on the phone after this.
Thanks, guys.